This is Mark Anthony with Mercury Time Price Analytics, and this is our daily update, end of the regular trading session on Monday, January 6th. Very interesting day. More interesting is the way the algos are compressed and what that foretells for the rest of the week. So Thursday evening, we had this sharp move down from 32.63 down to 32.05. We had a bounce higher into midday on Friday, all the way up to 32.46. And in Sunday Globex, we get a large gap down. Europe opens, we had a bounce back up to a little over 32.30. And then Europe opens and we get this move down again to 32.08. Now, where it got interesting is when the day session started in the US. This is the first bar in RTH, and it opens at 32.16, goes right down to 32.13, and then springboards back up. And that was it. Our algo triggered on that first bar. It triggered long, and it stayed long into the close. So it triggered at about 32.18, 32.19, stayed long all the way into the close. We hit a high at this algo pivot up here at 32.48. The triggering mechanism for our algo, if you haven't seen our videos before, it's comprised of two things. It's a two-stage process. This cyan line is our proprietary momentum algo. And when this momentum algo transitions from down to up, or up to down, or in this case, sideways to up, that puts the system into the ready state. Now, these little white dashes are our proprietary volatility indicator. Each price bar has two of these white dashes. So as they come together, you've got compression and volatility. As they expand, you've got expansion. The triggering mechanism is after the change of direction in the momentum indicator in this instance, from sideways to up. That puts it into the ready state, and the actual long or short entry is triggered when you get the white volatility dashes go from under to over, which indicates a long entry, and that's what we had here. So the first bar you had open at around 32.16, moved down a couple handles to 32.13, and then boom. And the long entry for our algo was triggered off that first bar. 32.18, 32.19, stayed long into the close. We had a high towards the end of the day, 32.48. And this was a one trade day, and the algorithm is performing remarkably. 5 of the last 6 days, it's been in one trade from bell to bell. So today it was long from bell to bell, and the only decision after that is where to take profits. And that's what these horizontal algorithmic pivot lines are. These give you multiple areas in which you can take profit as the trade works for you. Now, what's really interesting is the Mercury bands. We calculate these at the end of the day using the RTH close data. And these are multi-week time price algorithms. So they look at a large chunk of data. Even the short cycle looks at a rather large time frame. And this is the tightest compression that I've seen in these. After we run the pivots, we do two things. We put them into a spreadsheet. We post that in our Slack channel. And then I overlay the pivots onto the price chart. So here you can see the data sheet. And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bands that are between 32.24.16 and 32.37.62. So in the span of a little over 13 handles, you've got 6 of these bands. Now, the way these are constructed, if you think of the way a Bollinger Band is constructed, you've got the upper band, the lower band, the mid band. These are constructed using that same type of metaphor. You've got an upper band, a lower band, 2 middle bands, and then we also give you upper and lower price extensions. But the heart of it is the upper band, the lower band, and the 2 mid bands. So 6 algorithmic time price pivots, long cycle pivots. Again, even the short cycle is a long time frame. 6 of those within 13.5 handles, and even the other 2, 32.13, 32.05. So in 32 handles, we've got all 8 of these. I've never seen that before. Now, what that implies, it's no different than uh, uh, if you consider Bollinger Bands and you look at them on longer time frames and those bands get very, very tight, that implies that you're going to get a large move in one direction or the other. And you don't know which direction, and that's why you don't predict. You wait until you get confirmation out of that range. So after we run those, we put them on the chart. This is what you get. We've got our long cycle upper here. We've got the short cycle lower here. So the long cycle goes from 32.13 up here to 32.38. That is very, very condensed. And then you get the rest of these in between. So there's a lot of decisions that are going to need to be made over the next few trading days. Now, the purpose of algorithms is not to predict. You don't have to predict. Algos are based on math. But if you look at the context of what we had happen over the last few days, sharp move down from 32.63 down to 32.05, bounce up to 32.46, gap down on Sunday. Can this resolve higher? Of course it can. But looking at this construct, you have to ask yourself, do you think the next 50 to 80 handles are up or are they down? Well, the action that we got on Thursday and the action we got Sunday night would argue for the latter. Now, we'll see. But what this tells you as a trader is that we should get something very significant. It doesn't have to happen tonight in Globex, but we should see significant movement the remainder of the week. So the other question is, well, what did we see today? What does this tell us about what to expect for the rest of the week? Well, it can only be one of two things. If we know the algorithms are indicating that there's a large move impending, then you have to ask yourself, well, was this move up today the prelude to take the market much higher than 32.63, or was this just positioning, whatever you want to call it, into further weakness into the end of the week? Remember, we've got an employment report Friday. Personally, I think the employment situation is much weaker than we saw in the last couple of reports. There's a lag of about 8 weeks that you get in those reports, and I don't expect this next one to be that good. Now, how that affects the market, we'll have to see. But the market is setting up for a significant move out of this congestion zone from 32.22 up to 32, 36, 38. I mean, this stuff that you saw at the end of the day, I don't put much stock in that itself. I mean, the main move was in this area here, 32.36 to 32.22, pardon me. So that's going to be it for today. We're going to have to see what happens in Globex and tomorrow. If you haven't been to our website, it's mercurysignals.com. There's a lot of information about the methodology and the trading tools that we have. You can also sign up for the next webinar, free webinar, which is Wednesday the 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We're also running a special subscription offer that is 62% off the regular rates, 7-day free trial, no billing until after the free trial. And for our subscribers, even after that free trial, we bill weekly. We don't bill monthly, and you can cancel anytime you want. So you're not locked into a month at a time. And that's mercurysignals.com. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes to watch this. God bless you. God bless your family, and we'll see you real soon.